If you are starting out in the ball python breeding world on a limited budget, it is critical to understand that the animals that pet owners want to buy and the animals that breeders want to buy are completely different. So when it comes to the breeding side of the hobby, oftentimes we are trying to make one or two animals from each pairing that we want to hold back. But it is super common for the byproduct animals to be less desirable to the pet market than something like a banana, a pied, or a bell. So if you have such a limited budget for this video, we're gonna be talking about $2,500, what exactly should you buy in order to make the best use of your investment? Should you focus on the breeders or should you focus on the pet market? And in my opinion, I think that you can do both. My name's Steven with Leviathan, and let's get to it. Before we jump into this video, huge shout out to Stacy at Midgar Morphs because this video is partially inspired from a question that she had during one of her recent TikTok lives. And the question was, if you restarted your ball python breeding operation right now with all of the knowledge and experience that you have, but none of the animals, and you only had a $2,000 budget, which morphs would you invest in? So I took that question and expanded it just a little bit. One, because I felt like it would help out a little bit more given the animals that I want to buy if we had $2,500 versus $2,000. And in addition, I think that it does a great job of highlighting personal tastes, the business side of the industry, and a ball python breeding strategy. So with all this, we are going to be highlighting 5 different animals that are available on Morph Market right now that I think would be perfect to help somebody start their ball python breeding operation. And all of these animals work together in order to make amazing holdbacks that will push your projects forward, as well as making sure all of the animals are desirable to either breeders or the pet market without having byproducts. So the first snake we're going to talk about is the centerpiece of this strategy, and it is the male. Oftentimes when it comes to projects that are going to be the centerpiece of your operation, I advise people to start with the male because the male can go to multiple different females, and if you start with what male you're going to be using, it will be easier to understand which females are going to go best with him. So for this specific strategy, we are going to be looking at a leopard inchy pied that is 100% het sunset from Bob's Balls, and his list price on Morph Market is $900. So obviously, I love the Sunset project, and this is part of the personal tastes for the question that Midgard Morphs had posed to everybody. And I think that it is critical when you are breeding ball pythons that you are working with morphs that you absolutely love, because if you are solely looking at it just from a monetary perspective, eventually you are going to get burned out and you are going to leave unless there is a project that you're so passionate about that you are chasing, even if the money isn't there. With the male out of the way, we're going to dive into the 4 different females that we are picking up for him. And the very first one is an orange dream pied that is 100% het ultra male, and this female right now is on sale from Garrick DeMeyer for $500. I think that this is an incredible animal, and the reason why I wanted to pick her is because I think that the Sunset Ultramale is one of the best combos in the entire ball python breeding industry. And Ultramale pieds are such beautiful animals that have amazingly vibrant oranges. So combining these 2 different projects together into the Sunset Ultramale pied, I think is a no-brainer that is going to be one of the best combos that has ever been hit in the entire ball python breeding world, but it hasn't been hit yet. So this means that by getting this female combined with the male we talked about earlier, we are going to be starting to work towards a cutting-edge project, which in my opinion is critical when you are looking at the high-end side of the ball python breeding world. In addition, all of the babies from this male and this female every single one of them is going to be a visual pied. And when it comes to our experience with the pet market, it tends to be that bananas, bells, and pieds are the most in-demand snakes when it comes to new ball python keepers. So by producing every single baby as a visual pied, we know that we are going to be making some stunning animals that are going to appeal both to pet owners, and depending on what other genes are in the offspring, they may also appeal to breeders. Going along with this strategy, our next female is an inchy visual pied that is 100% het for ultramel for $450. And again, all of the same concepts applied. The Sunset Ultramel pied is going to be an incredible project. Every single baby is going to be a visual pied, but the reason why I wanted to make sure that we had another copy of inchy in here is that the super inchy pieds have a lot of pattern, and when it comes to the breeding side of the world, I think that people like pieds with a lot of pattern because it gives you a bigger canvas in order to make other combos with it. So we want to make sure that we have a lot of inchy in this project because pied is one of the centerpiece morphs that we are going to be using. The next two animals are genetically the same, and they are both visual pieds that are 100% het ultramel, but they come from two different sellers, so one of them is $300 and one of them is $250 on Morph Market right now. And the reason why we want these is because we are going to be working against the odds in order to try to produce those combo pieds that are double het, ultramel, and sunset. So with this in mind, we want to make sure that we have a lot of different babies in order to have enough volume where we're creating the animals that we are going to be able to hold back and push our projects forward. And in addition, one male can pretty easily go to 4 different females in a season even without an ultrasound. So this means that we are going to get the maximum use out of the male that we are investing in by being able to pair him to 4 different females once he is up to size and all of the animals are ready to breed. With all of the animals out of the way, we want to dive a little bit deeper into the strategy. And every single animal is a visual pied, which means every single baby from these animals is going to be a visual pied. Again, pieds are amazing animals to get people into the ball python industry, and I think that they are one of the most in-demand morphs in the entire ball python hobby. So with this, we are essentially eliminating every single byproduct animal because all of them are going to be serving a purpose and they are going to be perfect for the segment that they are targeted at. And with this, based off of the genes at play, 25%, statistically speaking, will be pied combos with no other hets. These are going to be the animals that are perfect to get new people into the hobby and to sell at local shows. And worst case scenario, you don't want to vend local shows and you don't really want to deal with retail customers, you can easily wholesale pieds to just about anybody who is vending a lot of shows because they are so in demand, and oftentimes people don't want to wholesale pieds because they are so easy to sell to new pet keepers. You might not get the full retail value of these animals, but you can definitely move out any of them that you don't want to sell retail yourself. Going further, statistically speaking, 50%, half of all of the babies that you're going to be producing from these animals are going to be combo pieds that are either het sunset or het ultramel. And these animals are going to be really good as holdbacks depending on the exact combos that you hit. Or they will also be desirable to other breeders because it is very clear where you can take, let's say, an inchy leopard pied that is het sunset in the future on their projects. So I think that this whole segment right here is perfect because you can either use them yourself as future breeders or you can sell them to other breeders at roughly the same stage that you are at right now. And last, 25%, again, statistically speaking, will be combo pieds that will be double het for sunset and for ultramel, and these are the gems that we are looking for on this strategy. These animals are going to be the #1 picks for your holdbacks because they are going to let you progress towards that triple recessive project that nobody has hit yet. And the fact that you have other genes that work great with sunset, with ultramel, and with pied means that you are setting yourself up really, really well for the future, because you aren't going to run into a situation where you want to breed out a gene in the future, and instead any of these babies that are pieds that are double het, sunset, ultramel, will be perfect for you to use. And if you decide that you did want to sell them because maybe you get multiple males and you don't need all of the male pied double het, sunset, ultramels, these animals are going to be worth a significant amount of money. And in my opinion, if you sold one of the combo pieds that are double het, sunset, ultramel, it would likely recoup all of the money you had invested entirely for the initial breeder animals. So, to summarize, this strategy allows you to produce your own animals that you can hold back and will progress you towards a cutting-edge project in the ball python breeding world. But the byproduct animals that you are producing are not normal poshets that no breeder wants and most pet owners don't want to buy because they aren't as bright and flashy as something like a banana bell or a pied. And instead, all of the babies you are going to be making are going to be in demand for a specific segment given the genes that they have in them. And while you will have to shed test all of the babies that you are considering holding back in order to figure out exactly which ones are going to be het sunset, which ones are going to be het ultramel, or both, if you use Rare Genetics Incorporated in order to do the genetic testing on Morph Market or on Clutch, if you put Leviathan in the notes and buy a single gene shed test, you can write in an additional morph to test that shed for free. So we highly recommend using Rare Genetics Incorporated, and we hope that this video was useful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. We are releasing a weekly ball python video every Wednesday, and occasionally we release a reptile documentary. Our next one is going live on August 6th, the Wednesday before the Southeast Reptile Expo. We can't wait to see you there, but my name's Steven with Leviathan, and we will see you next week.
You were gone. And then you had no cell phone service.
We're freaking out. We're looking down like, oh my goodness, you're like down this cliff. We're 10 miles, we can drive 10 miles.
Immediately, we are in mud up to the brim of these boots.
It was the first time that we really started getting a taste of the Costa Rican roads.
So we were all like, what are the odds that Steven has died?